Guide.
Live from Detroit's news leader, you're watching WDIV Local 4, where local news comes first. Now, Local First News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Art Edwards.
And I'm Michael Ann Wolf. A wild night for people living in one local neighborhood. First a shooting, then a brawl on the same street. Now police are looking for a man with a gun. Local 4 reporter Jennifer Donlin is live in downtown Detroit with our big story. Jennifer.
Well, Michael Ann, a 21-year-old man was shot 5 times on Detroit's east side. He was taken to the hospital by ambulance. Police were still on the scene. A fight broke out. Local 4 cameras were rolling. After a 21-year-old man is shot, the street erupts into more violence. Watch the man holding a car muffler over his head. Then a second man approaches with a 2x4. Officers rush down the street. Police managed to place the man in the brown sweatshirt in handcuffs. A second bare-chested man is escorted to a patrol car. Another woman is also placed in handcuffs. The dog is standing in front of a house where moments earlier there was a barbecue for neighborhood children. That's when the gunfire started. Witnesses say a man jumped out of a car and shot a 21-year-old man attending the barbecue 5 times.
He shot once, he fell to the ground. You know what I'm saying? He shot again. You know what I'm saying? Kept on shooting.
It's kids on this block. People just come out and shoot. Kids be sitting out. What if one of these kids gets shot, accidentally shot?
Witnesses say the wounded man managed to run down the block and down this alley before collapsing. The shooter got away. Residents say the fight that broke out later was related to the shooting.
And we always having fights and shootouts, all kind of stuff.
What started out as a peaceful Saturday afternoon ended with 1 man in the hospital, 3 people in jail, and a shooter on the run. Now, that man on the run is driving a red 96 Ford Escort station wagon with a license plate number of M as in Michael, E as in Edward, C as in Charlie, 910. Now, if you've seen that car in Detroit, please call police in the 11th Precinct at 596-1100. Now, as for your 21-year-old shooting victim, he is still in serious condition at Detroit Receiving. And as for the 3 people that we saw taken away in handcuffs, 1 was charged with felonious assault. The other 2 were charged with interfering with police. Now, if that victim is unable to make it through the night, this will turn into a homicide investigation. Reporting live at Detroit Police Headquarters, Jennifer Donlin, Local First.
Thanks, Jennifer. 4 unions representing about 4,700 casino workers reach a tentative agreement. Terms of that agreement aren't yet available, but the deal affects non-salaried workers, such as dealers and food and beverage workers. This would be the workers' first contract. They're scheduled to vote on the deal sometime next week.
New at 11 Mound Road is closed between 17 and 18 Mile after an accident involving 3 cars and a semi-truck. Witnesses tell Local 4 that a semi-truck jackknifed and 3 cars crashed into it. 3 people are hospitalized at Royal Oak Beaumont. 2 of them are in good condition. The 3rd is in fair condition. Sterling Heights police say the road should reopen shortly. Also new at 11, westbound I-94 near 8 Mile is back open after a multi-car accident shut down the road for about an hour. Harper Woods police tell Local 4 that 5 cars were involved in the accident. They are still on the scene investigating right now. 6 people are injured, 4 of them children. They are being treated at St. John Hospital. Their injuries are not said to be life-threatening.
Hundreds of people pay their last respects to Detective Chris Wooters, who was shot to death Wednesday in the Warren City Jail. Black ribbons are tied around street signs and cars all over Warren as people living in the city prepare to say goodbye. The funeral arrangements are as follows. Viewing is from tomorrow from 1 p.m. until 9 at the Timrowski Funeral Home on Hoover near Common in Warren. The funeral is Monday at St. Clement Church in Centerline. Services begin at noon at St. Clement Catholic Church on Van Dyke and 10 Mile in Centerline. Officer Wooters will be buried in St. Clement's Cemetery. City offices will be closed from 11 until 3, so city workers can attend. A replica of the Vietnam Wall is in Metro Detroit. The moving wall is half the size of the permanent memorial in Washington, D.C. It's on display 24 hours a day throughout next Saturday at the Henry Ford Centennial Library on Michigan Avenue, just west of Greenfield Road in Dearborn. A special opening ceremony, open to the public, is tomorrow afternoon at 2.
3 weeks until we choose a new president, the candidates are stepping up their campaigns in Metro Detroit. Hundreds gathered this afternoon at a rally outside the Detroit Public Library to catch a glimpse of Vice President Al Gore. Mr. Gore addressed the violence in the Middle East in his speech.
I think that we need to also understand that our nation's ability to provide leadership in the world depends in part upon our national strength, our economic strength, our military strength, and our moral strength.
The Vice President, Texas Governor George W. Bush, both plan more stops in Michigan before the election. Michigan is seen as a must-win state by both candidates. Israelis and Palestinians finally agree on something.
See why violence in the Middle East may be coming to an end. Plus, who or what is lurking in the shadowy stalks of this Michigan field? Local 4 cameras take you on an amazing trip through a Michigan cornfield. Plus Reynolds with a look at the forecast.
That's right, and in today's weather, we had plenty of sunshine after a few morning showers, but we're expecting big-time changes overnight and into the early morning. We'll talk about that coming up in a few moments. But right now in Southfield, skies are partly cloudy, and it's 62 degrees. Art?
People living in one local neighborhood take matters into their own hands to clean up a mess left by illegal dumpers. See what's being done to make sure the streets don't turn into garbage dumps again.
Flowers, alive with possibilities. Bring some home today.
I'm Debbie Stabenow. Doctors and patients should be in charge of medical decisions, not HMOs.
Debbie Stabenow sponsored a real patient's Bill of Rights to guarantee you can go to a specialist or the emergency room. And she's leading the fight to protect Medicare, earning her the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare's top award. Debbie says put Medicare in a lockbox so it can't be spent on other things.
As your senator, I'm going to represent the seniors and families of Michigan. Frankly, the special interests can take care of themselves.
Our grandson, Charlie, is coming for a visit. She gets so excited. Why, last night she could hardly sleep. Sometimes it's the little things that keep you going.
Grandma! Check it, tough guy. Come on, let's see what you've got.
M-Care Senior Plan. And for enhanced benefits, M-Care Senior Plan Prestige.
Instead of spending time with Jessica, the last days of her life, I spent dealing with managed care. When I found out that Spencer Abraham didn't support the Patient Bill of Rights, I felt angry and I felt alone. We called his office so many times. If I were from a big company that could make a large donation, they probably would have returned my call. But I was just Jessica's mom.
People living in one local neighborhood roll up their sleeves to clean up piles of garbage and trash on their streets. A year ago, Local 4 investigators showed you Barron Street, covered with everything from tires to household garbage, all dumped illegally. But today, 200 volunteers from Blightbusters in area neighborhoods pitched in.
We've been able to remove about 90% of it on this particular street in this particular area. It's something that you just can't do once and hope that it's going to take care of itself.
Barron Street is now posted with signs warning people that cameras are watching and anyone who dumps anything will be caught and prosecuted. A disaster is avoided at a local gas station after a car catches fire near the gas pumps. The car fire started a little bit after 11 o'clock this morning at a Shell gas station at Mount Elliott and Jefferson on Detroit's east side. No one was injured. Firefighters were able to put out the flames before they spread to the gas pumps.
The remains of 5 sailors killed during the attack on the USS Cole are back on U.S. soil tonight. They arrived at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, the military's largest mortuary. 17 sailors are presumed dead, but only 7 bodies have now been recovered. 39 other sailors were injured in that attack. Israelis and Palestinians finally agree on something after weeks of violence in the Middle East. President Clinton, Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, and Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat will meet Monday in Egypt for an emergency summit. Barak and Arafat stress their main goal is a ceasefire and are making it clear this is not the beginning of new peace talks.
Metro Detroiters are flocking to a cornfield in mid-Michigan.
They sure are, but the big draw here isn't pumpkins or corn. Find out why getting through this field of dreams requires a little creativity and a whole lot of problem-solving skills. It's still ahead.
Stop moving.
Leave already!
No busy signals, no dial-up. Another reason to get DSL. Call now for a free modem and free self-installation kit.
Art Van turns 41 with our biggest anniversary sale ever.
Get ready for big fun. Art Van turns 41.
Join the fun with prices at an all-time low, like 65% off this leather sofa. Our sale price $8.99 with an extra $100 off. It's just $7.99. Get our biggest finance offer yet. Do not pay for 1.5 years. Plus, enter to win a Ford Explorer from Varsity Ford and an ATV and trailer from Al Gaskell's. Don't miss Art Van's 41st anniversary sale.
Get ready for big fun. Art Van turns 41.
What's Debbie Stabenow's record? Very liberal. Check the facts. As a Lansing lawmaker, Debbie Stabenow supported increasing your state income taxes by 38%. Now that's liberal. Stabenow also opposed Governor Engler's Work for Welfare program. And Stabenow supported shorter jail sentences for criminals. Debbie Stabenow, liberal on taxes, liberal on welfare, liberal on crime. Check out liberaldebbie.com to find out more.
Kids, you turn your back 1 minute and they're scraping their knees, trading their sandwiches for candy bars, taking their internet companies public for $500 million. Kids. Well, we have some good news for all you so-called adults out there. Just because you're over 18 doesn't mean it's too late to begin working on your personal fortune. Sure, it won't happen overnight, but if you come in, we can point you towards some sensible ways to save or invest and generally take care of your needs. Of course, it wouldn't kill you to be nice to your neighbor's kids, just in case they make it big.
Chevy Blazer LT, the only vehicle in its class with OnStar and lots of other security features. A little security in an insecure world. Blazer, like a rock.
Congress is working on health care reform, but what's right for you?
Look, watch the cost. I can only afford to pay so much.
What about the millions who don't have insurance? Help them.
Let doctors make medical decisions. That's their job.
Senator Spencer Abraham has voted for health care reforms that are right for Michigan families and employers.
Thanks, Senator Abraham. Good job.
There is something lurking in the shadowy stalks of one Michigan cornfield. This is where we need the spooky music.
Oh, we sure do. Curiosity is getting the best of many Metro Detroiters who are flocking to the area. Local 4 reporter Steve Garagiola takes us inside a very unusual cornfield.
This is a story about a cornfield.
If you build it, they will come.
Did you hear that? No, never mind. As I was saying, this is a story about a cornfield.
And they'll pay $5 to go through it.
Do you mind if I tell this story?
Rose Farm Market and Pumpkin Patch is located in Mason, just south of Lansing. This is not your average cornfield, and I'm not the only one who hears those voices.
I hear all kinds of little voices. I told you I was crazy.
This field is so special that people come from all over Michigan and pay $5 each just to walk through the maze. Well, not the maze, you know, the maze.
Two distinctly different and challenging mazes. The larger one depicts the state of Michigan, with every county accurately carved into the cornfield. The Millennium Maze, the number 2000, a less complex warm-up. How in the world did they do that?
I start by coming up with the design, putting it down on graph paper. Then I come out in the spring after the corn is up 6 to 8 inches, and I stick flags in the field and get on my lawnmower and start mowing.
When Kevin Cosner plowed up his corn in Field of Dreams, the neighbors thought he was crazy. That's pretty much the reaction Joyce got, at first.
They thought it was crazy till they got in it, and then they had a great time, and they thought, well, I wish I'd have thought of that.
Okay, let's give it a try. Joyce tells me I should not expect a quick sprint through the Michigan maze.
Taking most people about an hour to get through Michigan and 15 to 25 minutes in the 2000 maze.
The key is avoiding indecision. When in doubt, go left. No, or right. No, left. The problem is, every new turn looks just like the one before it. Dead end. Fine. How do you tell where you are?
Every county has its own sign with the name of the county. It has a fun or an interesting fact about that county, a little map that shows you where in the county that it is, or where in the state that county is, and then a little clue that we have to solve a statement about Michigan for our school groups when they go through.
Forget the school kids. I've got my own problems.
Leelanau County, I'm looking for the Rensen.
Okay, I'm lost. But wait, the Mackinac Bridge, which means a quick right turn down I-75, and I'm on my way home. Joyce, you've got a great little cornfield here. And the best part for Joyce, people come from all around the state offering money to walk through it.
Yeah, it surprises me, but hey, I'm not stupid. I'll take it.
Good for you, Joyce. I got my money's worth. Steve Garagiola, local first.
Rose Pumpkin Patch is in Mason. That is just south of Lansing. The maze is open every day through the end of the month. Friday and Saturday nights, they are open until 10. But you have to bring your own flashlight.
Wow.
Doesn't that look like fun?
Yeah, I'm definitely there.
Now you've got to give us our cornfield forecast. Tell us which days to head out there.
It's going to be kind of rainy there tomorrow between the roads, so probably not tomorrow. And to tell you honestly, during the beginning of the work week, if you're going to be heading out there, you not only do, or if you're going out during the night, you don't need just a flashlight, but also an umbrella as well.
Thanks, Reynolds.
These things do happen. Go on. All right, let's jump right into the meat of the forecast. As always, a beautiful shot from our Windsor Skycam. And downtown, our conditions are awfully nice, above normal temperatures, still mainly into the low 60s and a few 50s out there as well. The high we had today, above normal, way above normal, 75. The low was at 51. The normal range would be 62 and 41. The records at 83 and 27 fell to 27 back in 1937. And your sunrise tomorrow morning should be a rainy one with 7:46, the time the sun is heading up. Okay, currently at Metro, sky is partly cloudy, and let's see, we've got 59 degrees, humidity at 80%, barometer reading. It's rising, 30.04. The latest in the wind is very gentle breeze out of the southwest at only 3 miles per hour. On the weather maps, we've got temperatures for you. Find out your favorite hometown, and sure enough, there's your temperature. Mount Clemens, downtown Mount Clemens, 61, 61 in Port Huron, 59 in Metro, 50 in Ann Arbor, and 54 degrees in Jackson. Now, as we pull away from the area, we still have a lot of cloud cover, mainly to our south and to our southwest, where we have one big cluster of showers and even a few thunderstorms rolling through the corn belts, ironically enough. As we zoom in a little bit closer, you'll see that it's an area of low pressure, and it's also a cold front that is interacting with some of the moisture that is coming up from the Gulf of Mexico, and that will trigger a few showers well to our south. They'll come closer to us by tomorrow. Now, for this evening, we could see some snow flurries to the north in Marquette, where lows will fall to about 34 degrees. Our low will be 57. Then by tomorrow, we really tap into that Gulf moisture, and the showers will abound with a high of only 64 degrees. So your forecast tonight beyond goes like this. For this evening, dropping to 57 with those increasing clouds. Wind southwest at 5 to 20 miles per hour. Then into tomorrow, looks like again, clouds and rain will be the mix. 64 degrees, your high temperature. Then we're going to sink all the way back down into some cooler temperatures for the week ahead. In fact, take a look at the rest of your 4-day planner. 4-day planner will pick up, as you would expect with Sunday, carry you into Monday. Gradual cool down for Tuesday and Wednesday with some sunshine popping out with lows dropping into the 30s. And the future forecast takes you all the way into the next weekend, and it's kind of a, well, not a bad trend at all, actually. Fairly dry for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. A beautiful fall work week with highs in the 50s and 60s, lows mainly into the 30s and into the 40s. So just a rainy day for tomorrow, and then things will gradually improve as we go into the work week.
Then you can handle to the cornfield.
You better believe
Sounds
it.
good.
And see Reynolds
I'll meet
there.
you there.
Yep, I knew it.
Thanks.
Fred's in next with sports. We'll be right back.
This weather update brought to you by Arby's. Arby's is the place to satisfy your grown-up tastes.
If you've ever eaten at regular fast food places, here are a few things you've never tasted before. Thick sliced honey wheat bread, all soft and fresh. Tender slow roasted turkey breast, sliced just so. Natural Swiss, and more flavorful toppings. Introducing Market Fresh sandwiches, a totally fresh idea from Arby's. Let us make one for you. Market Fresh sandwiches, something new from Arby's to satisfy your grown-up tastes.
That is so sweet.
Hey, here's your free phone for making the donation.
Want a free digital phone and $20 sporting goods cash? Donate $20 to Special Olympics from Ameritech.
Half-truths about HMO reform. Mike Rogers says he supports patients' rights, but when Diane Byram pushed for tough legislation to hold HMOs accountable, Mike Rogers voted no. In fact, Mike Rogers has voted repeatedly against real HMO reform. And even though big HMOs are cutting Medicare coverage for seniors, Rogers takes thousands from powerful industry insiders that oppose reform. Tell Mike Rogers, protect patients' rights, not HMO profits.
Connect people to the network, and suddenly creating simple documents just isn't good enough. Now they want to saddle-stitch booklets, side staple reports. Hey, they'd 3-hole punch and Z-folder into office mail if they could. They want the high-volume digital workhorses they've been promised, machines they can access from their desktops that double as walk-up copiers. The only machines that'll quench their insatiable appetite for all that is digital. Image-runner digital production systems from Cal. Here's the future. Let's get to work.
Supreme Court justices choose a side every day. Whose side are Robinson, Fitzgerald, and Thomas on? Robinson represented a radical welfare rights group that opposed Michigan's welfare reform. Nearly $200,000 of Thomas's campaign money is from personal injury lawyers, and Fitzgerald sided with a convicted felon who wanted to be let off a gun charge because his gun was broken when he assaulted his victim. Robinson, Fitzgerald, and Thomas. Too many wrong decisions.
Of course, the big game is next weekend, and the teams seem to be going different directions right now.
How big it is right now, because, Michigan State.
Well, big to brag about.
Of problems. It usually is a big one, but Lloyd Carr, let's start with Michigan. He was barking at the media last Monday and barking at his players all week. His bite was as potent as that bark as Indiana paid the price for Michigan's long week after a loss to Purdue. The coach had the players' minds all week, and they came out of the tunnel roaring today. Michigan got off to a slow start, but took a 10-0 lead still in the first quarter when Anthony Thomas rattled off a 7-yard touchdown run, his first of 3 scores on the day, 98 yards rushing. The Wolverines led. They struck for 35 points in the second quarter. This Indiana punt was blocked. Marquise Walker got his big paws on it, then had the presence of mind and foot to pick it up and run in for the score. That put a meek smile on Carr's face. Michigan led 17-0. Still second quarter. Henson to David Terrell. Drew Henson, 27 yards in the air on a first down play. Michigan rolling up over 500 yards of offense. That's why Henson was so happy on the sidelines. Henson later hit a wide-open Marquise Walker. Watch here. He cuts toward the sideline, then spins away, runs the other way toward the middle of the field. 75 yards on the play. It set up another Anthony Thomas score at a 31-0 lead. Henson goes deep once more. Forget pro baseball. This is a Sunday throw to David Terrell again. 43 yards on the play into your living room. Not a bad throw for a third baseman, eh? Red Wings' Brendan Shanahan and Aaron Ward said, put us in for the power play, will ya? Michigan had enough power as it was. 58-0 the final.
This was a tough week for us. I mean, the defense just came out determined. I mean, we really took the blame last week, especially me as an individual. But we just wanted to come out and play hard today and show everybody that we can play defense here.
You know, the biggest thing we had to do is play like Michigan, and that's what those kids did today. They came out and played like they're supposed to play.
Well, we had a very intense week of practice, and it was a little bit more physical than it was the previous couple of weeks. But it was more the mindset we wanted to come into the game, playing a complete game to 4 quarters.
Yeah, so amidst all the post-game hugs by the players, there was a growling coach who hasn't seen enough yet.
We got a long way to go. We've got to prove that we're a consistent football team that can play week in and week out for 4 quarters. So until we do that, we got a lot of things to prove.
Come on, smile, Coach. I know you can do it. It's Michigan State, Indiana Arbor next Saturday. It could be an anticlimax. The Spartans lost their 3rd straight. A heartbreaker to Wisconsin today. The Spartans played rotating quarterbacks. This is Ryan Van Dyke. He rolls right, and he hits Herb Haygood on a 43-yard touchdown strike to give the Spartans a 10-0 lead in the first quarter. It looked like a 4th straight loss for Wisconsin, but MSU's downfall started here, leading 10-zip. Van Dyke to a wide-open Haygood. This would have made it 16-0. He dropped it. Van Dyke couldn't believe it. State failed to score. Wisconsin tied it up. Fourth quarter, MSU with a chance for the lead. Jeff Smoker in. Little John Flowers back to Smoker for the flea flicker. His pass intercepted by Mike Eccles. He returns it back to the 30-yard line. It was still tied very late in the game. Less than 30 seconds left. Jim Sorge airs it out to Lee Evans. 45 yards for the score. That puts a dagger through Michigan State's Fading Heart. 17-10 the final.
I told him I was very proud of him. I told him to stick together because eventually something's good going to happen for him.
Crushes your heart. It definitely steps on your pride, and it just hurts. Flat out just hurts.
All right, Ohio State stunned at home today by Minnesota 23-10, and Purdue beat Northwestern 48-28, so Michigan part of a four-way tie for first place in the Big Ten. Yankees may not be the best team in the American League, but they're getting hot at the only time it matters in October. The Yankees one win away from another trip to the World Series. They got this three-run homer from Kalamazoo's Derek Jeter to stake the Yanks to a 3-0 lead over the Mariners in the American League Championship Series tonight. Dave Justice homered later, and Roger Clemens had 5 days rest and looked like it. 15 strikeouts for Clemens.
Struck him out.
There's one of them. A one-hit shutout. Yankees win at 5-0, lead the series 3-1. National League Championship Series you saw earlier today here on Channel 4. The Mets lost to the Cardinals 8-2, so that's 2-1 Mets. So maybe we'll have an all-New York World Series.
Maybe.
Not
Still
sure.
working. Yeah.
Those teams all play tomorrow, each other.
All right.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Fred.
Right. Thanks for joining us for Local First News at 11.
Have a good night. Saturday Night Live is next.
Michigan knows me as a fighter for common sense reform. Education reform that results in improved performance of our children is at the top of my list, which is why I support Proposal 1. Proposal 1 will initiate regular teacher testing and protect public school funding, and it gives choice to parents of kids trapped in failing schools. Proposal 1 is vital reform for our kids. You are the one who can put kids first. Vote yes on Proposal 1.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah?